Aloha no kako, o wau o Joshua Ranakilo Ka'aina i Kapono Manguel, and we're coming to you from Hamakua, Hawaii. I am the Executive Director for the Hawaiian Cultural Center of Hamakua, and we are honored to be partnered with the ʻUlu Co-op of Hawaii to be able to help to bring the education and to help to encourage the use of our traditional Polynesian starches. And I'm very honored to be able to have my tita nui, Miss Dardika Mile, joining us today.
Aloha everyone. Before we go any further, I just want to say mahalo to Larry and Colleen of the Waipio Cookhouse. They're allowing us to use their facilities so look more professional and look like one real kitchen. But mahalo to them big time, and mahalo Josh or Lanakila for allowing me to come and share my basic knowledge about ulu and how I utilize it in my own cooking. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the ulu in the different stages. We've got some ulu on display here. And you can see this one here is really young. It's still connected to the branch, a little bit bigger. This is one that was picked yesterday from Waipio. These are Waipio ulu. Everything grows bigger in Waipio, right? And so we're gonna go through the basic cleaning, prepping, and storage of ulu as I've learned through the years. To make it easier.
You know, and that's so important. I know a lot of our ohanas, a lot of people who are getting familiar with ulu, they haven't had much experience. So you get them a raw piece of ulu and they're like, what do I do with this?
And
so this will be good.
It can be very intimidating because with ulu is really sappy. I mean, they used to use the ulu sap for various, you know, the Kanaka, they were like very MacGyver-ish. You know what I mean?
MacGyver, actually.
And so what they did was they use the sap sometimes to catch birds for the
kiamanu.
The kiamanu for the ali'i. They put the sap on the branch and the bird would come and they take the feathers and that was it. And you taught me something too earlier about what they did with the sap.
The va'a, the sap of the ulu. They kind of just cook that up and it become the resin and the caulking for the va'a. And as well too, you know what? Another fun one I learned. This was our traditional hair gel.
Hair gel?
Hair gel, you know, this crazy nice mahiole kind hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hair gel.
And what they would use to take them out? That's the next question.
Go swim for about 2 hours in the ocean.
Salt and sand, right?
Yeah.
Salt and sand. Anyway, so I've got ulu here in various stages. Now with the, I'm going to take this one here. No, maybe not. Maybe I grab one from our backdrop here.
Oh.
Okay, I grab this one. And when the ulu is like this, when it starts getting white and brown, you know, sappy, that's when I like to pick it. I never ate ripe ulu until about 4 years ago.
Oh wow.
I never had how they cut it in half, take out the core, pop one block of butter, cinnamon, sugar, put them in the oven. I never had that.
Wow.
Because growing up, I'm Puerto Rican, and so growing up, the only way we ever ate ulu was boiled. And so my grandma would fight and literally fight the ulu, and I'm not going to cut the whole thing, but just enough. So you can start seeing the sap that starts coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, it's really sticky, and then it gums up your knife. And my grandma would cut and cut and cut the ulu, and I would just leave this here so we can see as the sap starts coming out.
Oh, wow.
And she would fight with the ulu, and when she was done, her hand was sticky, her knife was all sticky, and the only way to clean it, in my papa's mind, was to go in the back and put gasoline on the rag and wipe the knife clean and wash them and put them back in the jar.
That's strong stuff.
That's strong stuff, yeah. So, as the years went by, you know, I heard, oh, put the ulu in the ice box overnight. So I put this one in the ice box last night. And you can see, one, it's easier to cut through, and two, you know what, a sap coming out.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, you see here, look how much of the sap is
you see the sap
dripping.
is dripping already over there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, when you said working
maybe we
this.
should put napkins so we don't need to scrub the counter after.
Yeah. I remember the times of having to help cut the
yeah,
so
and
sticky.
so like even touch this. I mean, it's a little bit wet, but look, it's not sticky.
Oh wow, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
so we'll put this on.
That's
this
so
side.
unusual. I just went touch one sticky, one ulu, wet ulu, and then not sticky.
And it's not sticky. Yeah, exactly. So as time went on, you know, I put it there, and then one day we went to Waipio, lo and behold, the big branch fell from my tree with 17 ulu on it.
Ooh.
And
see
I
what
was
about
like,
going fall.
oh my gosh, you cannot waste this. And my husband said, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm taking it home. I don't want to ruin my icebox. What am I going to do? So we got home and he's like, hey, don't forget, you got to steam taro now tomorrow. You got to steam all the kalo. And I was like, wait a minute. I steamed the kalo with the skin on. Why can't I steam the ulu? So I did it. And fast forward to how I do it now. I take the whole ulu, pop it in the pot. If you don't have a steamer, just put it in the pot with water, boil it. You gotta roll them, and it only takes maybe about 40 minutes. So this is a parboil. So what I do now is I do that, and I take the ulu.
Ooh, yeah. That's a whole ulu. So
this
is a big ulu too. So
wow. I just parboil it, and then what I would do is at this point, take it, wrap it really tight in saran wrap.
Ooh,
smell it, yeah, smell. Oh no, yeah.
Oh no.
I wrap it in saran wrap really tight, and I just put the whole thing in my freezer.
Oh.
And now I gotta tell you, one ulu is more than enough for one family of 4.
Oh yeah.
You know, depending on what you're going to cook it with, or how you're gonna cook it. So what I always have in my house is ulu ready to go, even when it's not ulu season. You know, so.
This one, I would say, this guy was easy around about 5 or 6 pounds.
About 5 or 6 pounds.
So this was about 45 minutes boiled?
45 minutes, yeah.
Nice. And it's cooked all the way through.
It's cooked all the way through.
Look how pretty that is.
I know, love it, yeah. So how do you know when it's done?
Guesstimate them?
Guesstimate them, no. If, I don't want toothpick, but like the potato.
So if you just go right inside.
Yeah, when you go right inside and it comes out and...
Nice, like
you cannot, you cannot poke that, you know, so same thing with that. And then
you at least get it down, you know, so kind of feeling if it goes about down to the core.
Yeah. I usually have a skewer, then I poke once I hit the core, and I know that it's all the way through, and it's good to go. So what I do is, then at that point, when I take it out, or sometimes I quarter it because I know I want like only a little bit, and so I'll wrap a couple quarters in the and put it in the freezer.
Nice.
That way, if I need a more or less, you know, I got it ready. And then it's just
wow, look at that.
Just
like butter.
Yeah, like butter, exactly.
Wow.
You know, and actually, you could pretty much just scrape it off with a spoon if you wanted to.
It's like kalo.
Yeah, like kalo, exactly. And so 6 cuts. And there you go. Yeah. So what I do is then I cut it off like pieces, and you know, however you wanna do it. Now, just FYI, the core is edible.
Okay.
It is. Like, think about it. When you go eat ulu chips,
yeah,
it's so thin. They leave the core,
yeah,
and you're eating them, so you could eat it.
I
like the pineapple core.
It's a woody flavor.
Yeah, I would think
but
so.
But edible.
Yeah, it is.
That'd be a nice little science project to actually see if there's any added vitamins and minerals inside the core.
Ah, interesting. Because you know, a lot of times that's where most of the vitamins and stuff is.
Because it's so centralized there.
Yeah. So, anyways, and then I cut it. Now, something to note that when you we can put that in the bowl because you just did bite on, you know. When you freeze the ulu and you defrost it, it's not gonna be like this. So you know, like with the kalo, when you freeze kalo or when you freeze,
come all grainy.
When you get the poi and it defrosts, is like it's not poi, it's all crumbly, right? But when you heat it up, the magic happens.
Then you cook
and so the scientific part of it is, all the starch molecules will reconnect, and so it becomes starchy, and that's you know what I mean. That stickiness back to it.
Gotcha.
So that's the same thing with the ulu. The ulu is going to be the same way. So don't kind of freak out if you take out your ulu and it's kind of weird when you heat it up. Yeah,
heat it up.
When you heat it up, when you cook with it, it'll all get good again.
Oh,
okay. So
it's like flame rehydration.
Exactly. Yeah, rehydration.
There's probably a cooking term for that, but I don't know it.
Yeah, that's your homework for tonight.
Homework for
There will
tonight.
be
What
a test
is
in
it
our
to-
next episode. Okay, so back to our ulus. You know, you can see the sapi.
Oh wow, yeah.
You know, you see.
Look, see?
Yeah, you see. See the white.
Take.
And then when you come here and you look at this one, nothing.
Wow.
See?
So just throw them in the freezer overnight?
No, icebox, refrigerator.
Oh, not even in the freezer. Just
chill it.
icebox, just chill it a little
Yeah.
bit and handle it. It takes the sticky consistency out of
Yeah.
that sap, so much easier.
So, I mean, knowing that you're going to cook it anyway, there's really no reason to even peel it. I mean, I just say go for the whole deal, put the whole thing in the pot,
just
and boil it.
But you
know?
do make sure to rotate it. Yep.
Make sure you roll it, you know what I mean? Because unless you have a really big pot, you know, like for most of us families, we get the big lao steamer, you know, you use the bottom section. You can fit quite a few ulu in there. And that's about it. I mean, you know, ulu can be eaten at different stages. So I've actually seen people that have come that pick the ulu like this. It's really small.
Pretty baby.
Yeah, and what they do is they cook it. The difference is the texture. So what happens is it becomes really, really rubbery. Yeah, so you can taste the ulu, but still in its young stage, it tends to be more of a rubbery. So even when you grate it, even when you cut it up, the texture is really different. Yeah, so my thing is wait till you get the brown spots, the little sap, you know, dots on the outside, and then you're ready to go that way.
So that too, yeah. So when you start to see that white, I know some people freak out, like, oh my god, what is that? That's just the sap secreting and drying up on the outside. So
yeah, it's not mold or mildew.
Not mold, not mildew. So I know sometimes you look at that, like, oh my god. No, oh my god, it's okay, it's sap.
Yeah,
okay?
it's sap. It's good. It's good to go. So, and that's pretty much it. Now, the other thing that I found interesting is, and I'm not sure what culture it comes from, but I've actually seen where they use the ulu leaves to wrap, like tea leaf. So if you don't have tea leaf and you're in need of a leaf for some reason to wrap some food, they've actually taken the ulu leaf, they take out the back, you know, the hard part of the tea leaf, and they bone it, and then they use that to wrap their fish or whatever, which I find interesting. I think it would actually give the ulu some different flavor, because you know that there's a tea leaf flavor to it when you use tea leaf to steam your fish and stuff. So got me wondering, like, I wonder how it'll be if I wrap the fish in the ulu leaf. They use grape leaves, you know, different countries use different types. So
I believe here in Hawaii as well too, they would use, if you don't have accessibility to la'i, piki, you can wrap with the ulu, and I know the other types of things they would wrap.
Yeah, so, with ulu. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That's the basic, simplest way I know to prepare ulu for storage, prepare it for eating. I just want to really quickly show you guys that I do a lot of like cooking with ulu. I don't use potatoes anymore, and if I do, very, very rarely. And the reason for that is because I went to this seminar, and they were talking about utilizing our local starches, as you said, and they were talking about potatoes. So this one gentleman came up and he started talking about potatoes and how they are so oversprayed, because everybody wants that perfect long big potato. Because when you go to the fast food joint and you order French fries, the first thing you do is pull out the longest one, right? You like the long French fry. So they do that. In order to do and get big potatoes, they have to spray. Now, what really freaked me out about this whole thing is that they spray so much that the sprayers go into the field with full hazmat suits. They spray, and then they put up signs, and no one is allowed back into potato fields for at least 3 days. And we're eating that stuff, and it's in the dirt. So I started learning more, and I was like, you know what? There's no reason why we cannot replace ulu with potatoes. I mean, potatoes with ulu.
And the ulu has been part of, especially here throughout Oceania, you know, Polynesia, Micronesia, Melanesia, in the Asian Pacific regions. Ulu is a primary starch for us too. And it's lasted thousands of years before the introduction of the typical Irish potato or potatoes.
Yeah.
We have sweet potatoes and such too, but ʻulu is really a principal starch. And that's something that we're recognizing in this time of recognizing health, health and well-being, and really looking to how our food is cultivated. So here right now, this is ʻulu grown just in someone's home or even in the wild, and these starches are super healthy and it's falling all around us. And this was a very principal part of the Kanaka diet for Native Hawaiians. And when you read of the history of the physique and healthiness of Kanaka Maoli, well, why not return to these types of things? And it's also, this is available.
It's readily available.
It grows here and it grows well in the tropical regions. So this is ways that we can help to mitigate against that type of factory chemical farming, and also for massive transportation costs and oil and all that kind of stuff. Local and healthy.
Exactly.
So with this, mahalo nui, mahalo. No, this is helping for everybody right now. Again, getting us from the raw, fresh off the tree. Different stages, understanding how we can malama this, how you can prepare it in a very simple way, and even prepping. You got some secrets over here. how can you mitigate past out the typical skinning and with the still sticky? Throw them in the ice box and you're already helping yourself by removing the tackiness of the sap. So there's a great one right there. Great way, quick, easy cooking. You don't even have to skin it. You can go straight from here into the pot, and you have the whole thing can be boiled and cooked all the way through 45 minutes for one big bag like that. And we're going to clean
instead
that.
of 45 minutes of skinning.
45 minutes of skinning, and then good luck after that. And you get the help and you get to skip the tacky. And then being able to take it from that point there, already it's edible. So if you want a simple, basic ʻulu, boom, you can cow just like this.
Like this, and real quick, I just like to grate it. So, for those of you breakfast fans in the morning, no need hash brown, ʻulu hash.
ʻulu hash. So first stage, basic cooking of your ʻulu, simple boil. And an added benefit, you can skip the skinning part, easy skin removal with that. Awesome. So this is our first step right now, just knowing our basic way and how we can malama. And again too, storage. Once you boil it like that, you can wrap it up, put it in the freezer. How long can it last in the freezer?
A year.
Up to a year.
Wrap it up really tight.
Wow, because we know we have our ʻulu seasons, so to be able to maintain our ʻulu in between the seasons, right? And then remember when we bring it back out of the freezer, the texture will be a little different.
But don't
fear. Little bit of heat will bring the starches back together, and we get that nice flavor. And then the texture back. So awesome, mahalo nui right now. This is awesome. This is our first video just to share with you all, to take that ʻulu. Mai maka'u, don't be afraid of it. Don't get freaked out with the look outside. Don't get over, oh my god, it's sticky. Aole pilikia, and it's all around us. So really, mahalo nui loa. First step, you have your ʻulu right now, and we're set to go. So mahalo nui, Artie. Awesome.
Welcome.
So with that, we'll be coming back to you guys again with some more, we're gonna dip into some more recipes.
We're gonna get some recipes. We're gonna start cooking and eating our ʻulu.
I'm ready for the eating part. Miki aloha nui a oko, mahalo for joining us here in Hamakua. Miki aloha. We hope.
Aloha.
Ano ai miki aloha nui a oko. O wau o Joshua Ranakila o ka aina I ka pono menguao. Coming to you from Hamakua, Hawaii Moku. I am the Executive Director for the Hawaiian Cultural Center of Hamakua, located in Honoka'a. And we're very, very honored to be able to participate and to partner with the ʻUlu Co-op of Hawaii on this special project featuring the ʻulu, the breadfruit, a very important Polynesian starch, native to the tropics, and very much bountiful here in Hawaii. This series of cooking shows with myself and my dear Tita friend Darty Gamayo is helping to share with you the variety of different things that we can do with this amazing local Polynesian starch. So with that, this initiative is also in response to the growing need for food security here in Hawaii, which many of us have been working toward for many years, and now this need very much exemplified during this time of the Ma'i'iki'iki Uvaiku, or the COVID-19 virus. Many of our communities, many of our families are struggling with many different things, and for many, even to keep food on the table. But there's so many ways that we can address this situation to be able to tap back in to the momona no keia aina, to the bountifulness of this land, to be able to tap back into these traditional foods that fed hundreds upon thousands of peoples on this island for thousands of years. And now, as our palates have evolved, as we're going to share with you a number of different recipes, some traditional and some very nice new innovative things that we can do with this ulu. Ulu itself is a plant that represents growth. And the story of the origins of ulu is so important, and it's connected to the Hawaiian akua, or the deity known as Ku. Ku Ka'ulu. Ikawa kahiko in the days of old Hawaii. There is a mo'olelo, the story that tells us of the origins of the ulu tree. It's connected to a deity known as Ku. Ku, which has to do with structure and order of community, as well as the mahiai, or the cultivator, the farmer. Ku is said that during a time of great drought and famine in Hawaii, offered himself, encouraging his community and his family to do his bidding. He prepared a great pit, and there put himself within it and told his family to bury him. This act of self-sacrifice, as everyone came over and wept, this sacrifice from the body of Ku grew the first ulu tree. There is no time like the present, a time of great need. We are taught to look back to this very land. We should look back to what our ancestors, our kupuna, presented. For again, this tree grows in great abundance and was here feeding hundreds of thousands of people for thousands of years. No time like the present to return back to a healthy starch, something that can help to replace a lot of things that we have to rely on outside sources to feed us. Why? When it literally dangles above our heads and falls to the ground. Ea no ka'ulu. Let us have growth and inspiration in our communities once again. Let us be inspired by this bountiful delicacy, o ka'ulu, and the many, many different ways that we can prepare this and enjoy this fruit. And with that, e ola ka'ulu, e ola ke kanaka. Eke aloha nui a oko. Please enjoy these videos, and please go out, get yourself some ulu, try these recipes. Neke aloha nui a oko. Aloha.